Welcome to the Website Success Show, the podcast dedicated to helping women in business get more traffic and sales through their website with less reliance on social media and paid ads. I'm Jules White, the founder of the Website Success Hub, and I love helping local and online businesses make more money through their existing website. If you have a business you love, but you don't like the way your website performs, then this is the show for you. Welcome back to the Website Success Show. It's Jules here, and today I have a special guest with me. I'm welcoming Carly from Carly's Candles. We're diving into a website SEO audit for Carly's website today. So hopefully by the end of this episode, we'll have identified one or two key areas you can focus on to reach your goals over the next 6 months. So welcome, Carly. It's great to have you here.
Hi. Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. I'm
You're
so
welcome.
excited.
I am. I'm really excited to dive into your website as well. So before we start, quick question, which I always ask, is if we were to meet in 6 months' time and you were telling me the amazing things that were happening in your business, how would your website be helping with that?
So I'm really hoping my website actually is going to really increase in traffic, and I'd really love a higher conversion rate and also a higher spend. Or higher average spend with my customers, and it's definitely one of the arms that I really need to focus on in sort of the next 6 months to 6 to 12 months really. So actually I see it as being quite a big proportion of my business growth in the next 6 months.
Yeah, definitely. It's really important. I think especially for e-commerce businesses, it is really important. Your website is your shop. So, it's
Yeah.
really important to focus on that. So tell us a little bit about your business and how your website currently sort of sits within your marketing activities.
I create home fragrances, which are all about the clean living and those people that really want to make make their home a safer place. So we have all our candles, reed diffusers, wax melts. They all smell great, obviously, because I make them. But they're really for that person that's slightly more conscious about waste and about the toxins that we're exposed to in our day-to-day life. With regards to my website and my marketing, I'm generally a bit rubbish, to be fair. It's just there, and it's ticking over, and it's great when I get a good I've just had a big campaign, so I've had a brilliant amount of traffic direct to my website, but it's not doing the work that it needs to do behind the scenes in terms of coming up in Google, and I'm just not really utilizing it as best as I can. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
So how are people finding your website at the moment? Is it social media? Are you paying for ads or anything like that? Or...
No, not paying for any ads. It's all through social media, my email marketing, obviously reminding people, and getting my business cards and promotional flyers and stuff out to people when I'm out and about at events, so that then they've met me, they know me, they know where to go for their next thing. So yeah, it's kind of a mixture, but there's no strategy. I've got no strategy with my website.
It's not yet. I mean, the fact that you've just said you've got an email list, that's good. That's definitely helpful. And not just relying on social media. So yeah, I think what we'll dive into today is I'm going to start sharing my screen and we'll have a little look at your website and just see if there's anything that we can do for quick wins realistically. I think you said you wanted to focus on specifically SEO, so we'll have a little look. There will always be conversion stuff because I can't help myself, so there will always be things that we'll talk about around conversion as well, and they do go hand in hand as well. I think that if people come to your website and then they immediately bounce back to Google, it doesn't send a good signal to Google, and that can harm your rankings as well, really.
Okay.
So do you track anything with your website at the moment? Do you track anything in terms of where the traffic is coming from, what you are actually showing up for in Google versus what you're maybe not? I think that's something that a lot of people don't necessarily do that.
No, I don't do any of that. The only tracking and bits that I kind of look at are in the back of house for Shopify. So it will show me how many people I've had live on my website, and very basic, but I genuinely don't look at anything else.
Okay. And do you have Google Search Console set up for your site? Do you get little notifications from Google saying there's a problem with this page, or congratulations, you've had 20 hits from Google this month, or something like that? That's normally where people know that they've got.
Yes. So yes,
Okay.
have, because I do remember briefly having an email from them saying about how many hits I'd had. Yes. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So that's an important thing to do. So Google Search Console is a free tool from Google. It helps Google to understand our website better, because there's a little tab in there for our sitemap. And I would definitely suggest going and doing that. Make sure that your sitemap is actually submitted to Google.
Okay.
It's very simple and easy to do. You can literally, next time you get one of those emails, or find one of those emails, click on it, and then it will then take you through to your Google Search Console. And that, even just looking at that alone, can, for some businesses, can be really helpful. So I can see some of this from my SEO tools that I see from the sort of the front end. So I can see you're getting, at the moment right now, you're not getting that much traffic to your website from Google. You know that anyway. You know that that's happening. It's something that obviously is on your list as part of the reason why we're talking today, because we've talked about this in the past. But it looks like you did have a little spike in November all of a sudden. So, and that was an organic spike. So that might have been leading up to Christmas, or it might have been that you had a particular thing that you were, that one of your candles shows up for, that suddenly became a trend. So yeah, it's definitely worth sort of looking at this information.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, traffic fluctuates, and especially with Google, and with everything's a bit up in the air with Google right now anyway, with AI overviews. And actually, just before Christmas, one of the things that happened was Google started adding shopping results in the AI overview. So and we started also seeing that in ChatGPT as well, where we could literally find shopping results within AI search. So it's definitely worth making sure that that kind of stuff is set up. Do you have Google Merchant Center set up?
Is that the one with like my address and where I'm located?
No, that's your Google business profile.
Oh,
so Google Merchant Center is actually one that's really important for e-commerce businesses. And what that actually does is it's specifically for product-based businesses. Again, it's another free tool from Google, but that then helps Google to show up. When you get the shopping results that come up in a search results page.
Yeah.
The reason that they come up is because Google Merchant Center is set up, and Google can understand the information about your website in a sort of structured way, which is something we'll look at when we look at sort of the front end of your website. We'll look and see if your website is structured well. But I would definitely suggest that. So looking at some of those tools from Google will immediately help you understand some of the things, as I say, that you're showing up for versus that you aren't. And so some of the words you need to increase on your website. And then the Google Merchant Center with Shopify, I think you can literally link it to your website, and it will then draw in all the information directly then from your website.
Oh, okay.
It's something you can use for Google Ads as well. If you did want to run Google Ads down the line, I would say not to do that until your pages are converting well, and until you know what would be some good words to target with the ads, really. But having that Google Merchant Center, I think, could help generate some traffic and hopefully generate some sales immediately, really. So I would definitely suggest doing that. So some of the things that we are seeing that you're showing up for, things like eco-friendly candle, that's good. And so this shows us the amount of searches, and this is set to the UK, the amount of searches roughly each month for these particular search terms. So Carly's is a random thing that's like the word Carly's, it's showing it as a local and a commercial search term. So let's have a little look at what the search results pages are. You get these random things there, but you don't normally see like that search volume for that. It might just be that there's lots of cafes in the UK called Carly's, or lots of whatever called Carly's, that actually Google is then associating that with a commercial search intent. But anyway, you're showing up in position 3 for that, so that's a good thing. And for you, that then becomes a branded search, and we really want the people who know about us to find us. So Carly's candles, if you're showing up for that, which it doesn't necessarily look like you are particularly showing up for that, no. But you want, maybe that's something you could build in. I don't know, I haven't looked at your website to see if you've got an about page yet, but that's something you could build in with that, of making sure that the people who know about you, the people who've maybe seen you at a local event, if they type that into Google or ask ChatGPT, then they can actually find that information. And so you'll see this kind of stuff in your Google Search Console. What you'll see though is the amount of times that you've shown up for the search rather than the actual search volume. These are SEO tools that I use. So this one is called SE Rankings, and you can get a free trial with that, where you can get a certain amount of searches a day, and it will tell you how difficult something is to show up for in Google search results, the average search volume each month, and also where, if you put your website in, it will show you the average position of where you're showing up. I find this really helpful. I'll link to this in the show notes as well. But even within Google Search Console, what you'll be seeing in there is you'll be seeing these as search queries, and then you can click on them and it will tell you which pages are being associated with that particular search query. So it gives you an idea of also the average position that you're showing up for in Google. So if I was looking at eco-friendly candle, for example, it's showing that there's a search volume of 320 a month, which is good. That's, you know, it's not like 1,000 where it's more likely to be much more competitive. It's a commercial search intent, which means people are looking to buy something as well. And you're showing up in position 16, which is not a bad position to be in. So it's kind of towards the bottom of page 2 on Google, but it's something where you could definitely improve that fairly easily. So if I was looking for the keywords to focus on first, that's where I would be looking. And also it's showing it's got a search difficulty of 4. So it says effortless here. Nothing is effortless in SEO, but we're wanting to look, these are out of 100. So if they're in green, if they're under about 20, then it's definitely something that's a bit easier to look at. So what I would be doing for you is I would go into your Google Search Console, click on that search query. You'll see it in there where it says queries. If you go into performance, the performance tab in Google Search Console, and click where it says queries, and look at these search queries of eco-friendly candle, whether it's got a dash in or not. You can have a look between those. And you can actually filter as well. So you could do a filter on there of anything that contains either eco-friendly candle or eco candle or those kind of things, and see which pages of your website is being associated with that, and whether there's one that's kind of strongly being associated with that. It looks like it's your collections page that's showing up for that, which is really good. Collection pages, but especially for e-commerce sites, are often really powerful. So what we could actually do is we could pop over to your collections page and see if there's anything we can improve with that page, really. So if we go to shop, and actually one thing I would say is if I'm coming into your homepage, is there an easy way for me to get to that collections page?
Okay, so I need to do that, really.
Yeah, so I would be like having something in here on your homepage. Ideally, we want people to understand as soon as they come into our homepage what we do, how we're going to make their life better, what they need to do to get it. And what they need to do to get it here could be something like shop our bestsellers, shop our collections, or something like that. And then ideally what you would want to happen is that collections page that you're linking to, you would want that to say something like, if you were trying to target that page for eco-friendly candles, shop our eco-friendly candles would probably be a better link to you, or button text to use for that particular search term, because that's then sending a really strong signal to Google that that page is about eco-friendly candles. So then on that collections page, you would make sure that the page title and the page description contains that term eco-friendly candles. And you can use those variations of it as well. So if you see like it's eco candles, environmentally friendly, like you'll have thought about this, no doubt, in terms of like, what does eco-friendly mean? What are other ways people might describe that? What are the similes? What are the, different sort of related search terms put into Google that eco-friendly candle would also then show up for? And then using those throughout that page as well can be really helpful.
Okay.
So coming back to your website and your homepage. So as I say, what we want to then see as soon as you come into your homepage is for it to be really clear what we're helping with people with and how they can get it, really. One thing I would say that it is a bit of a conversion, and it is an SEO thing as well, is I would look at the font size on your website. It's a bit small. You don't want people to have to get their glasses out to buy from you. And I think you've actually got, when I checked, you've got your font size set, I think it's a 16, which is the minimum that we really want to have. Google doesn't like fonts below a 16 pixels. I very rarely use less than an 18 on a website, just purely because they often are. 16 is often very small, and sometimes 18 is too small as well. It does depend on what font you're using. And if you're using a font that is quite slim lines, which yours it looks like it is,
Yeah.
you might find that even just going up a couple of font sizes makes a big difference to how visually it is easy to look at. One thing I would just do is just check on the mobile version. This might not be exactly what you see on your phone because it does just render it slightly differently. But even with that, I would be thinking, okay, this still looks a bit small. Sometimes we can think, oh, on mobile, I need to go smaller because it's a smaller screen. If anything, we need to kind of go the other way. So this is a nice size font here, but I would just be upping this one a little bit. And also the button font as well, up the size of that. So we want our button to be really obvious, and the text on the button should be really, really obvious as well. So, and even with this button, maybe having it, this is where you could have, rather than shop all, it's shop our eco-friendly candles or something like that, or browse our candle collections or something. You'd sort of put some thought into that in terms of what you want that to go through to, really. So the difference on mobile versus desktop, obviously we can see the font a bit better, whereas here it's kind of bit buried a little bit in the background.
Okay.
Ideally what you want is for the words to stand out. So maybe even making this heading a bit bigger, and definitely this font a bit bigger, but maybe you just need something like an opaque background overlay that then makes it easier to read that. And simple things like that can really help with conversions. So if you are already getting traffic to your website, then that can really help to make the most of that traffic, really make sure that people really are able to take the action you want them to. So is this the collections page? Let's have a little look. Yes, it looks like that's the collections page. Okay, so coming into this page, one thing you can do that can really help to improve search rankings is making sure that any page that we want to be showing up on Google has a minimum of 250 words on it. So I would maybe if I was wanting this page to show up for eco-friendly candles, I would be having a paragraph at the top of the page talking about what eco-friendly candles means and why people would want to explore that. You maybe have a similar sort of thing on your homepage, but this page it is more specifically about the eco-friendly side of it. And then maybe you have, I don't know if you've got different collections there. Are they all? Go on.
It looks quite messy, to be fair. I didn't realise how messy it looked.
It doesn't look messy, I don't think. I think it definitely could be easier for people to understand where to go. And it's worth even thinking that of like, is it immediately obvious to people how to shop the collections? And there's always simple tweaks that you can do. So even something as simple as having, like, you've got autumn collection here, that should now be spring's collection or summer collection, and then maybe move autumn collection, because people still like shopping the different seasons, but just moving the spring collection up to the top is something that might encourage people to be more likely to click through there. You've got this review us on Trustpilot here. I think potentially that might be doing more harm than good. I don't know if you track how many people do actually click on that and go through to your Trustpilot, but ideally, if you were using your Trustpilot thing here, what you'd want it to say is, for example, like trusted by 150 plus eco-friendly shoppers on Trustpilot or something along those lines. And then that would link to your Trustpilot. You could maybe at the bottom of your page have something around like review us on Trustpilot or something like that. But I think for here at the top of the page, it's more important for the shopper to be increasing the trust, really. And you could even have that if you, rather than having this hello bar, this attention bar at the top of your website, carouseling through different things, you could have that trust signal up there of trusted by 150 happy shoppers on Trustpilot. And then maybe the sign up. So you have it as two things that are in there. So it's worth spending some time to think about this, about how can you increase trust on your pages, particularly on the homepage. So if you've got a review that somebody is describing like the transformation and how using your candles has helped them, basically having a little something like that here just below your call to action on your
Yeah.
pages, that can also be really helpful. So that's something where you can immediately get trust across and will do more than this review us on Trustpilot, which is probably at the moment just a bit of a distraction really for people, and especially on mobile as well. I think every part of our page is important, but this
Yeah.
hero section, this above the scroll, above the fold section, so before people start scrolling down the page, is our most valuable real estate on our website. And if that thing on that particular part of our page is not performing, then it doesn't need to be there. It's basically just taking up space really, and that valuable space. And I would think about that, just coming back to your homepage on this one. Let me go back to your homepage on the mobile version. Think about if there's a way that you could maybe use this space a bit better here, because at the moment it's just a picture of the candle. Maybe you could just squeeze things up a little bit. So if you didn't have that review us on Trustpilot, you maybe would see a little bit more, so people can immediately see when they come in here, like the hand poured candles. I would think about like what the benefits to people. So what's the benefit of it being hand poured and a soy candle? Maybe that's something to focus on a little bit more in this section.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So what's, and you can flip that, and you could maybe think about what's the downside, what's the problem you're solving here. And obviously that is the toxins and the sustainability of the candles. Is there a way you can flip that into the positive for people who are coming into your site?
Okay.
Yeah. So coming back to the collections page, having at least 250 words here that talks about the fact that it's eco-friendly candles, the benefits to people maybe there as well, a little thing about the collections. You could even have something within that paragraph at the top of the page that it, like maybe it's if you like shop our bestsellers, so you don't have to just have it like this. It's so or even shop our most popular candle, having that within the paragraph text with the actual link that says our most popular candle is another way to take people to where you want them to go on the website as well. So that's another little kind of trick that you could add in there. And then let's have a little look at your page titles and descriptions. So, okay, so we've got collections, Carly's Candle Company here. Ideally, we want this page title to contain the word eco-friendly candle. If that's what we're trying to get this page to show up for, eco-friendly candles. You don't necessarily need your brand name in every page title, and quite often it's just taking up space. So you would want that probably in your homepage, maybe in your about page, in the page title, but you can use these better, these collection pages. And this is one of the things that AI can be really helpful for in terms of actually writing these page titles. So if you tell it, I'm writing a page title for my collections page, my target keyword for this page is eco-friendly candles, please write me a page title, and then just humanize it really. So if you need to, quite often it comes up with really good stuff anyway. And the same with your page description as well. So when you write that little paragraph at the top of the page, think about what can you take out of that, as around between 119 and 135 characters is good for a page description. That if you were looking at a Google search results page, the page title is the blue link that we used to see, we don't see them quite so much now. And the description is the bit that shows up underneath it. So ideally, if you can have something that encourages people to take action, so maybe here it would be shop our eco-friendly candle collections today or something like that, then that can be really helpful in this description area. And then, so we've got a H1 and we've got a random H2, an empty text at the top of the page. That might be something to do with this review us on Trustpilot, or it might just be a random thing on the page, but you should be able to see that in Shopify. And so even in the H1, we would want that to say eco-friendly candle collections or something like that. So we're targeting that phrase in the H1 as well, if that's what you decide you want this page to show up for. So this is all sort of based on what we're sort of seeing there. And then what are we seeing here? So, okay, so we want to think of our page like an English essay. So think of it like you want one heading at the top, which would be shop our eco-friendly candle collections, and then we want to just see H2s from there. So see how we're jumping from H1 to H3. that's
Right.
not ideal in terms of hierarchy. So I don't even know. So we've got two All Things Christmas,
I
two
know that's
Autumn
so not
Collection.
good, but I've still got all things Christmas on there. That's terrible. You can see how much I dislike my website.
Do you know what? Also, though, I didn't even notice it. So maybe when we're up in the font size here as well, maybe that will help people to be able to
Yeah.
shop through here as well better. My goal is to make you passionate about this sort of stuff on your own website because this can make such a big difference. And I think probably when you can see the potential with it,
Yeah.
and you can see that actually I just need to come in and look at these kind of things. And these are easy fixes, right? These are things that are not technical. Yes, some of the H1s and H2s can feel technical, but you're familiar with your website builder. You're familiar with Shopify. This is just a case of going in and tinkering around with them, really. I talked about this back in episode 108 of the podcast, where I talk about the different brain modes that we use when we're trying to create our websites and edit our websites and why it all feels so difficult. And I think this is probably a little bit of that, where we end up, I know you said you find it boring, but we end up trying to create the strategy and write the content and do the implementation all in one go. And it just gets a bit overwhelming. Whereas actually, if you even just go in and write yourself a checklist of, oh, I need to move the All Things Christmas and I need to bring spring up to the top and I need to add a page description, and then just go in with a checklist and do it, you're going to feel amazing, the fact that you've actually ticked all of those things off of your to-do list. And it's going to help Google to understand what you do. And even just if you went in, worked out why you've got two of these, and it might be the desktop version and mobile version. Sometimes that can be why you see these duplicate, or it might even be, you'd have to do some investigation in Shopify as to why that's happening. But even just if you change those to H2s, which you should be able to do, I would imagine that Shopify would allow you to make those H2 headings. That will make a big difference, because it then tells Google what these pages up that you're leading to. So even with like bestsellers, it could be, rather than bestsellers, best-selling candles, all things Christmas gift candle, Christmas candle gifts, spring candle collection, even just adding the word candle in there, and especially eco-friendly candle, so thinking about different ways you can say eco-friendly, as I say, but adding that in sends stronger signals to Google about what this page is about. And also it helps with accessibility as well. I talked about this a couple of weeks ago. I had Rachel come on from the Inclusive Design Company. So Rachel came on and we had a chat about accessibility. So I will link to that in the show notes as well. But even just that, even if you did nothing more than went in, increase the font size throughout your website if you can. Ideally, if it's something that you can do it all in one, that would be really amazing, because then that's a big win. Thinking about your homepage and just adding something in of shop eco-friendly candles, or shop our bestsellers, or something like that. It's just a little bit easier to navigate, and people immediately know they're in the right place when they come to your site. And then with this page, there's definitely that potential there of like adding a paragraph in at the top and changing this hierarchy. That can make a big difference, definitely. Yeah. So anything in particular that's kind of stood out to you? I'm going to stop sharing my screen.
Just that I need to get my bum in gear, really, and like try and stay on top of it. And like I said before we started recording, like just trying to allocate that dedicated time to working on the SEO and just the website in general, I think will really help, because then I'm kind of like, right, this is my hour that I need to get, like you say, like a tick list, and just say, this is all the things that you just need to update. I'll feel so much better, and doing it in bite-sized chunks, I think will be really good. But I genuinely never thought about the text size. Um,
Yeah,
at
yeah, yeah,
because I could read it, I was like, oh yeah, that's fine,
yeah,
not thinking about the customers and what have you. So that's been really good, and just understanding a bit more, like you say, about the keywords, because you hear that all the time. People going, you need to make sure you've got your keywords for your website, and I'm like, but where do I put them? Like, and you don't just want to be repeating it the same thing all the time, but in those different ways. So
yeah,
yeah, that's all
yeah.
been very, very interesting. So
It's one of those things. I think the more you do it and the more you can see where the opportunities are, Hope, and the more you see the results from it as well, and I think that's where sometimes just having a look at the data, looking at your Google Search Console, looking at Google Analytics as well, and actually, okay, where is traffic coming into my website, where are the sales coming through my website as well, because especially with e-commerce, if you've got your analytics all set up properly, you can literally see where people are actually buying from you. And yeah, it's all about moving it in the right direction and just taking those steps really. And you won't fix it all in one go, you know. Probably
Right.
take you a good chunk of time to fix it. And it's never fixed, it's never done. Our websites are a living, breathing part of our business, and especially for e-commerce brands. So yeah, it's really important.
I do have one very quick question for you.
Go for it.
Christmas. So, when would you recommend having a page put on that is about Christmas? Because I hear there's lots of different things, and some are like, well, you need to put it on, like have it there in the background, just not live for like 6 months before. Others say, just get it live 2 months before. Like, what do you know? Is there like a key time for me to sort of start thinking about? Obviously, mine's already mentioning Christmas, but that will be removed.
Well, let me stop you there because I would not be removing that because you
Okay,
don't want Google doesn't want to find pages and then not find them, because that's not going to send great signals to Google.
fine.
And we don't know when people are looking for Christmas ideas realistically. So
No,
and also it might be that they just want to have a browse, or they're looking for a particular scent or something like that. So that Christmas page should stay there on your website as a live page all year round. I firmly believe in that.
okay,
Especially if it's sort of, if we go to that and it says, and it's like Christmas candles or something like that, then that's really important that Google then also already associates your website with Christmas candles before we get to whatever point the
okay.
people say is the best time to start promoting Christmas. Obviously, if it's, Tesco's or somebody, it's the day after Easter finishes, but it's like, but it's something that, yeah, I wouldn't be thinking about how can I remove Christmas from my website because it's spring. I would be thinking about, okay, this right now, Christmas probably isn't a priority page for you, but
Yeah.
you don't want to take it away because you still
So
want
if I
Google to
kind of just
associate.
move it right down to the bottom, maybe reword it slightly. But
Absolutely. You can, yeah,
uh,
you don't, and I wouldn't even think too much about rewording it. And the only thing I would maybe be doing is at the beginning of the year, changing it. So if you talked about Christmas 2025 last year, as soon as we get into 2026, change that to just say Christmas 2026, looking for early Christmas ideas for 2026. What's the worst thing that happens? Somebody stumbles across that page and they happen to think, oh yeah, maybe I can start thinking about that now. But you don't need to make big changes to that page because it would probably be the things that you were doing outside your page that then would be bringing traffic into that page really. So, and you
okay,
might then see the traffic increase to that page once you start doing those other things really. Yeah,
okay.
let's not give ourselves more
No, no,
jobs
no.
to do because we know Christmas is going to come around every year and we know spring's going to come around every year. So it's just all you're really doing is just rotating where they're appearing in that collections page really, of just, okay, it's spring, we need to focus on spring. And then you probably would bring that onto your homepage, and maybe closer to Christmas, then you would bring a direct link or an image or something, almost making like a banner ad for your own homepage that
Okay.
says shop our Christmas collections, and it's an image that shows all the Christmas candles or a Christmas tree or something like that. But you would
Okay.
have that on your homepage in, I don't know, what, after October or something like that. And then it moves into spring, and then it moves into, New Year or cleansing or those kind of things really. So
Yeah.
yeah. And that's part of that maintenance of your website. And once you've been through that for a year, you can also then keep a note in your diary. So oh, on the 1st of January, or not the 1st of January, on like the 6th of January, or whenever you're back to work after the kids have gone back, then you're, okay, I know today I need to go in, I need to take the Christmas thing off and put the spring one back in or something like that. Really.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. That totally.
fantastic. Good. So before we finish, I would love you to give your business another little shout out again and let us know where we can connect with you and find out more about what you do.
Oh, yep. So Carly's Candle Company, all inspired by my kids, who are now 6 and 3. But yeah, you can find me on Instagram, Facebook. Oh, I'm embarrassingly on TikTok, but I feel like, you know, but it's there. And obviously my website, which will be all shiny and new and more organized in the coming weeks. But yeah,
I
Carly's
mean,
Company. So yeah, be
so it's
lovely.
carlyscandles.co.uk.
That's it.
It's a website, fantastic. And I would say Google, like in terms of like shining new, this can sometimes be a problem where people think they've got to change everything all at once, but Google actually prefers like a not a whole everything changing at once.
Yeah.
Like change things incrementally. Go back into your Google Search Console and you'll see a little bar at the top where you can submit a URL of your website, and then you can tell Google basically to recrawl this website. So things have changed. Please recrawl this website. So it's worth doing that when you've made any sort of changes to pages. Once
Okay.
you're getting more traffic through to your website, it's not as critical to do that because Google then is maybe crawling through every day. But until you get to that point where you're getting lots of traffic, it's certainly worth doing that when you've made some edits to your website.
Okay. Amazing.
Fantastic.
I'll let you know when I've done some.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And let me know when you start seeing the traffic improving, which will definitely happen. And getting
Yeah.
more sales. That's the important part as
Yes,
well, really.
yes, exactly.
So if this episode has made you think about your website SEO and you would like to explore getting some help with that, you can book an audit where I actually dive in, look at the most important things where you can focus on for your website first, or you can book a power hour where we're together on Zoom over the course of an hour and really diving into those priority fixes that you can make straight away. So thank you so much for listening. Thanks, Carly, for being here, and we'll see you soon. Bye. If you'd like to attract more local clients, grab my free local visibility checklist. It'll show you the simple steps you can take to show up in your area for what you do. You can download it at thewebsitesuccesshub.com/local. And thanks for tuning in to the Website Success Show.